Conor McGregor is saying, fuck the octagon. He is in talks with Logan Paul for a boxing exhibition that is going to be put on by a very, very wealthy family from India. So he's not coming back to the UFC right away, and he's fighting the wrong Paul brother. Before we get into the video, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe for me. Anything helps me out to keep posting content for you guys. Let's get into it. Conor McGregor took to Twitter and says, the rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. Gotta pronounce Topuria's name wrong. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon. So, Ariel Helwani did some research on the Ambani family. Apparently, they are like one of the top 100 most wealthy families in the world. They have a company that's worth like $96 billion. So they have the funds to bring these two names together. The other thing is, we have to remember now, because when we used to see things like this of two people from different worlds coming together, especially when it came to someone in the UFC going out and fighting someone who's not in the UFC, it seemed very far-fetched because the UFC never really did business like that. But now that the UFC and WWE are owned by TKO Group as a conglomerate together, they're basically the same company. And you got to remember, Logan Paul is a WWE superstar. So if there is anybody that they could get a deal done with, it would probably be Logan Paul. A lot of people also said that this is actually something that is being talked about. It's not anything final, but it's more than just Conor going out on Twitter and saying this. You know, Conor's known for kind of just fucking rambling on Twitter about shit that isn't going to happen. But apparently there is real talks about this. Then, if we go to Dana White's post-fight press conference from Tampa.
So I anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you fuckers crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never fucking see coming for 2025. That literally started to come together last night. And yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up.
Could that be the Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul fight? I don't know. But it would fit the description of what Dana said. An unbelievable announcement that none of you would believe in 2025. It's unbelievable. Does that mean it's something that we really want to see? Not necessarily. Will I watch? Of course. But obviously, I'd much rather see Conor come back and fight Michael Chandler. The other interesting thing is, what does the UFC do to get the heat off of Conor from his civil suit that he just went through in Ireland? Obviously, I don't think they're going to announce anything in the immediate future, but bringing him back in a fight against Logan Paul, would anybody really be thinking about what he just went through in Ireland? Probably not. At least the people who are going to be there asking him questions are not going to be asking him about that. Will we be thinking about that? Possibly. But bringing him back against Logan Paul is so massive and such a crossover thing that it would definitely take the attention off that, versus if you just brought him back in a regular fight. It would be huge, of course, because it's Conor, but it wouldn't be as massive as a Logan Paul fight, as meaningless as it is. How does this affect Conor's actual future in MMA? I think if this fight does happen, it drastically increases the chances that he never comes back to MMA. And the reason I say that, look what happened with the last boxing match he had. When he fought Floyd, he came back the next year in October against Habib, but then after that, it's been very sporadic with his MMA fights. He has not been consistent at all, and that wealth, that level of money, drastically changed his need to compete in the UFC. So I think if he does get this Logan Paul fight, we're not going to see him for a while or probably ever again in a MMA cage. That might be Conor's play for the rest of his career, these crossover boxing fights, because he probably sees them as winnable. He probably thinks he's gonna walk through Logan Paul. He probably thinks he would walk through Jake Paul if that fight is to ever happen. I think that might just be what he ends up doing. He might be like, fuck MMA when I can go make 70, 80 million boxing. Why would I go to the UFC for 20, 30 million for a harder fight too? So in all those different ways, it kind of just makes sense for him. Again, probably not what we want to see, but in the long run for him, it makes the most sense. Do I think this actually happens? I think him fighting, as crazy as this sounds, I think Conor fighting Logan Paul is just as likely as Conor coming back and fighting Michael Chandler. I think they're both like 50-50. So we will see what happens with this and how it progresses. But as of right now, it is a real thing being talked about and negotiated upon. So we will see if it becomes a reality. Guys, I will see you in the next video.